Mowgli wanted to do the intro with me today. Say hi guys and welcome back to my video. If you guys are new here to my channel, welcome. My name is Erin and I like to do all things crochet, knitting, and fiber arts related. So Mowgli here just wanted to help me out with the intro of this video. I'm gonna kick him out of here in a second though. Literally don't mind him laying back there. He knows that when I start filming and working, he likes to insert himself. And I know my hair be looking a little crazy, but I'm digging the little ponytail do right now and I'm too lazy to fix whatever's going on up there. So let's just go ahead and dive on into everything that I crocheted in the month of November. But go ahead and say hi to my girl Millie over there. She's really happy. She's thriving. What's up? Hey Millie. Alrighty, so if I can remember correctly, I believe I only have a few things to show you guys for the month of November. I was a very busy gal and I wasn't home as much as I wanted to be. I won't keep you guys hanging. Let's just go ahead and start off my November creations with this beautiful one-of-a-kind 100% mohair sweater. Now this thing, it took me quite a while just because I wasn't used to using mohair yarn. If you guys happen to tune into the video where I was showing you guys how I started making this sweater, then you'll know that this was my first time ever using mohair yarn. And let me tell y'all that I absolutely fell in love with mohair yarn. I've never used yarn that had such a drape like this one. Can you guys just really see how lightweight and airy and flowy this whole sweater is? And yes, so many of you guys have been DMing me and messaging me about this sweater, but I have decided that I am going to sell off this bad boy to a beautiful, wonderful client who will get a lot of use out of her. As much as I love her, I have a really bad problem with hoarding and keeping my creations, and I thought it would just be really fun to start selling off my one-of-a-kind creations. But let's just go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown on this sweater. So this beautiful mohair yarn that I used to create this off-the-shoulder looking cropped sweater is by Rico Design, and this yarn was gifted to me a few months back by Universal Yarn because they are now carrying the Rico Design line of yarn, and this is the Rico Design 100% Super Kid mohair yarn. And of course, if you guys are interested in purchasing or even looking at this kind of yarn, I will leave a link for this down in the description. Some of the links that I have listed down below are affiliate links, so if you happen to click on the link and purchase something, I do get a small commission from it. So if y'all would like to help your girl out and support me and help me to run this amazing crochet channel, then please feel free to click that link and see what Rico Design is all about. But I'm not kidding you guys that when I unboxed this yarn, I was blown away. Like, you guys can obviously see this ombre transition. I have never used a yarn like this before. I'm honestly flabbergasted. I know that's not a word that people really use anymore, but when you see this transition of color, I'm just blown away. It takes my breath away. And I'm sure you guys have seen a ton of mohair yarn online before that's probably single color or maybe even dual color with some sparkle, but I have genuinely never seen a mohair yarn that really roved like this. Can we just take a second to appreciate the transition of this sleeve? But yeah, like I was saying, I wanted to make this sweater with an off-the-shoulder kind of feel. So I did just chain that it was long enough to stretch over the edge of my shoulder and then come up and hit my neck. So if you guys are trying to recreate some kind of off-the-shoulder sweater, it's very simple. And believe it or not, I used the same exact pattern instructions that I showed you guys in this video here, where I made this beautiful blue-toned scrap sweater. Yeah, it might not look like it, but I did use that raglan top-down pattern that I showed you guys in that video to achieve this off-the-shoulder feel. Again, I just chained more at the beginning so that it was long enough to kind of slip off the edge of my shoulder. And I'm really thankful that I kind of chose that design because when I tried this on for the product shots, quick side note, I only wore this sweater one time once I got it all finished up, just so I can get some product shots for it for my website. But what I really love about this off-the-shoulder design is that the neckline is small enough for you to wear it as a regular sweater. So when you kind of have it on both of your shoulders, it just looks like a crew neck or a boat neck style. But if you want to just slip it off the edge. It does give you more of that sexy shoulder vibe if y'all are into it. But yeah, I'm gonna try to bring you guys in nice and close. I hope you guys can see all of that fluffy mohair on this top row. This sweater is actually very warm. And if I can remember correctly, I believe I used a 6mm hook to crochet with this very super fine mohair yarn. But my goal with using a thicker crochet hook is that I really wanted this sweater to have a little bit of a see-through, lightweight pattern to it. So I know you guys can really see like my hand coming through here. It's so gorgeous. It's very lightweight and airy. A little bit of like a lace pattern, if you will. I'm not gonna throw it on right now, but I will include some of those product clips for you. So like I was saying, the sweater is a little bit lacy, a little bit see-through, but my goal with a sweater like this is that you could wear a bodysuit underneath this. You could even wear a crop top, or if you guys are the daring type, you could even wear like a lacy bralette underneath this. And believe it or not, it actually kept me very warm. I wore this in San Diego on the edge of a cliff where it was very windy and chilly, and I was freezing at first, but once I threw on this bad boy, the mohair did kind of shelter me from the wind, and surprisingly, I was not cold in like 50-degree weather. So if it's obvious, I absolutely love this creation. I would say by far top 3 favorite things I have ever made here on my channel. And I think honestly, number 1 might be my rainbow scrappy sweater, but this thing takes the cake at number 2. I've just really fallen in love with mohair yarn, and ever since then, I have been yarn shopping, searching the web for like the most affordable and high quality mohair yarn, just because I want to start incorporating more mohair into my sweaters and my tops. Again, now that it's kind of like colder months, we really appreciate a super kid mohair yarn. Oh God. And again, I'm just gonna give you guys another quick pro tip. If you are working in the round or you're trying to make like a raglan style sweater, at the end of each row, don't forget to turn your work. If you guys can remember the crochet booty shorts that I made during summer, I was working in the round, but something that I forgot to do was turn my work at the end of every single row, and I'll probably insert a picture of it right here. But because I wasn't turning my work after every single row, my side seam really had like a slant, a sideways slant to it. And I know most times people won't really care about that side seam, but because I've been crocheting for so long, I can't believe I like made that mistake in the first place. So ever since that mistake, I have been turning my work at the end of every single row when you work in the round, and that just helps you to get a very straight back seam. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all the back of this sweater. But can you guys very faintly see that middle seam right here running all the way down? How do I do this? Okay, so this is the back side of the sweater, and can you guys just barely see that middle seam that I'm talking about? It's almost invisible to the naked eye, and that is because it was done so perfectly in the round. And again, I turned at the end of every single row, so you almost cannot see that middle seam. But yeah, now that I have the product shots finally taken for this gorgeous mohair beauty, I will be listing her up on my website very, very soon. And believe it or not, I think I'm also going to list my blue sweater as well. I just wanted to do my monthly creations for you guys before I sold these bad boys off. But can you guys just see how squishy and bouncy and lightweight this thing is? It's so compact, you could actually fold it up really, really tiny, and it's on the go now. Okay guys, I'm back. I did kind of change the setup of my camera a little bit just because I wanted to bring you guys a little bit lower, and I was a little upset that Millie wasn't really in view, and I just want to appreciate this girl. She's been growing, I've been taking care of her, giving her sunlight. She's happy, she's thriving. But let's just go ahead and get back to business. Before I talk about this beautiful raglan top-down creation, I do want to take a second and thank Dossier for sponsoring today's video. As I'm sure you guys know by now here on my channel, I have been a longtime fan of the Dossier fragrances, and they're so kind. They did let me select a few new fragrances to show to you guys here on my channel. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Dossier is a fragrance company that reproduces high-end luxury scents at a fraction of the cost. And with the holidays fast approaching here, Dossier is having a huge holiday sale over on their website with up to 40% off these scents, which is huge. You guys are literally getting 40% off these gorgeous scents. And the two new scents that I got to pick out are Oriental Cherry and Musky Oak Moss. Their Oriental Cherry is very similar to Tom Ford's Lost Cherry scent, and the Musky Oak Moss really reminds me of Creed Adventus. But I think out of all the Dossier fragrances that I have so far, the Musky Oak Moss is by far my favorite one. You guys know I really like those musky unisex scents, and this one is perfect for me and Jordan to use on the daily. And on top of this huge holiday sale that they're having right now, you can use my discount code at checkout and get an extra 10% off your order. So a big thank you again to Dossier. Jordan and I love the fragrances. I guess we're staying up late tonight. They just brought me coffee. They know me so well. But like I teased you guys earlier, let's just go ahead and dive into this gorgeous blue-toned raglan sweater. So I hope by now, if you guys are watching this video, that you did previously watch my crochet raglan top-down DIY. But I love this scrappy sweater so much. I'm so proud of myself for getting this thing done. And I don't want to talk your ear off too much about this sweater because I did make a whole like 23-minute long video about how I made the sweater. But again, this was done with the raglan style pattern. And for this one, I did choose to have more of a boat neck, wide neck feel to it. And I'm absolutely happy with how it turned out. I really like that when I wear this sweater, you can kind of see my décolletage a little bit of shoulder. So it gives it a little bit more of a feminine feel, even though this is kind of baggy and oversized. But really quickly, something that I did want to touch on with this sweater, I was getting a ton of comments about the sleeve and how this sleeve is drastically different from the sleeves on this bad boy. And believe it or not, I did it the exact same way. The only difference is that with my first raglan sweater, I did chain about 10 or 15 across the armhole there when I was connecting from the front to the back panels. So this sleeve ended up being a lot baggier up at the start of the sleeve. And believe it or not, with these sleeves, I didn't add any increases. So from the very start of the sleeve to the bottom, I was simply working one stitch into every stitch for the entire sleeve. So these are actually very boxy. Again, no increases, no decreases. I just worked straight across the rows. But with this sweater, the reason why the sleeves look so different, and I mentioned it in the video, is that I chose to chain less when I was creating my sleeves. So like I mentioned with that previous sweater, I did add a chain of about 15 underneath the arms, but with this sweater, when I was working on the sleeves, I only had a chain of 5 going from the front panel to the back panel, which resulted in a lot slimmer of a sleeve up here at the arm. And that's exactly what I was going for with that previous one. I was trying to have a huge statement baggy type of sweater, but because I wanted to work this one up a little bit different, I just used a lot smaller of a chain underneath the armpit when connecting the two panels, and that gives me a much skinnier sleeve. It's a lot more fitted, and because the sleeves on this one aren't as baggy, it just helps the whole sweater to be a lot more lightweight and wearable. But again, if I can remember correctly, I did use a 6.5mm hook to whip up this sweater, and again, it does have more of that lightweight, almost see-through look to it. I definitely wouldn't call this sweater lacy by any means, but for me, I am always wearing some kind of bralette or tank top or bodysuit underneath, so I'm never worried that you're really gonna see through this and see something that you're not supposed to see. And then for the finishing touches on this bad boy, I did choose to have more of a cinched in wrist here, or a cinched in cuff. And I really like how it's a lot tighter here, so if I want to pull the sleeve up onto my arm, it's going to stay there. Also, it kind of helps that the whole sweater is not like flailing around on you as you're working and moving around. And of course, to match the waist to the sleeves, I did cinch in the waist just a little bit. I think I decreased every 4th or 5th stitch for just a few rows. So it does suck in just a little bit here at the very bottom of the sweater, but it just helps it to kind of cling to your body a little bit better, and that way it's not, again, flailing around everywhere. But yeah, other than that, the yarn that I used to make up this sweater is like 90% Red Heart Super Saver yarn. You guys know I have that huge stash that I've been trying to cut down on, and thankfully I only have a little bit left. I think I have enough yarn to make maybe one more sweater, so I'm really thankful for that. And then there are a few rows here that I used Erin Simply Soft, but it really wasn't too much. I think the only shade that was Karen is this really dark teal right here, and everything is worsted weight number 4 yarn. And just like that mohair sweater, I will also be selling off this other one-of-a-kind Erin sweater. So keep your eyes peeled for this bad boy on my website in about the next week. I'm so happy with the product shots, and I can safely and happily let this bad boy go to a happy home. Oh, and really quickly before my camera dies on me, the last few things that I have whipped up just in time for November were a few headbands. Now, I know I don't really have a headband DIY on my channel yet, but I am currently whipping up a really fast and simple one for you guys. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming in about the next week. But I thought making really simple crochet headbands would be the perfect Christmas gift idea. Again, a lot of you guys have been leaving comments and DMing me asking me for Christmas gift recommendations. And the very first thing that I can think of are some very gorgeous ribbed headbands. And as you guys can see here, I did use 2 different colorways of yarn. With this pattern, I chose to have more of a horizontal ribbed type of pattern, and I really like how this turned out. So simple. All you really have to do is crochet a rectangle, and then you sew together the center piece there. And then with this headband, I did choose to go for more of a vertical ribbed theme, and I like how this one looks as well. But they both have a ton of stretch to them. And I think by far my favorite thing about these very simple headbands is the little cross seam that I have here at the very center of the headband. Again, you don't have to work it up with this little cross bow looking style in the front. You can sew together this headband so that the whole thing just looks plain like this, and it's almost seamless. But I feel like adding this little touch of like a little X in the front kind of steps it up, makes it a little bit more feminine and a little bit more fashionable. So I am currently working on this DIY for you guys right now. And again, really good, quick Christmas gift ideas. I honestly whipped up one of these headbands in just about an hour. So if you guys have a lot of people that you want to give gifts to, you can spend a whole day and probably knock like 6 or 8 of these out just in one sitting. And unfortunately, I'm not going to pop it on my head right now because these are actually going to be gifts for some of my friends and family. But what's so great about these headbands is you can really alter the pattern so that your headband is even thicker, or you can alter it so that it's more slim, and that way they can wear it as an actual headband and still show off their hair and their makeup and whatnot. Or again, you can make these headbands a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, and they can be considered like ear warmers, which is again perfect for winter. You can make it nice and thick and chunky. And I believe for both of these headbands, I used 100% acrylic yarn, and they were also both worsted weight yarn. But if you guys want to change up the pattern a little bit, you can use thicker yarn, like a super bulky yarn, and work this headband up in like half an hour. You guys can use really thick wool to create the headband, throw in some mohair for a really fluffy texture, or even if you guys are looking to knit this instead of crochet this, you can use the same dimensions, knit this up so that it's nice and stretchy and long lasting, and somebody's going to have something handmade and one of a kind for Christmas. So yeah, I've really been loving these. I've been dying to try these on, but I don't want to stretch them out and put them on my head before I give them away for a gift. All right, well, this pretty much wraps up everything that I made in the month of November. I'm sorry that there weren't too many things, but I promise that I'm working on a handful of new videos and tutorials for you guys right now at this moment. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in here time and time again to my channel. I'm honestly so thankful and grateful for all the love and support that I receive here on my channel. You guys really give me the motivation to keep doing what I love. So thank you for allowing me to teach you all and inspire you guys to get back into crochet. And of course, thank you again to Dossier for sponsoring today's video. I love your fragrances. Thank y'all for working with me so much. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Stay tuned for more coming soon. I love y'all. Bye.